Now, daughter, don't make fun of your brother. I'm sure he'll find someone eventually. Well, I'm not sure because of his, insanity. He saw something actually rise from the dead. He was right! He was right. Yes, all is correct again, but what is a moose? You're mindless, Jonathan. I sure am. What's your point? It pointed to a large hole in its skull. And don't call me Jonathan.
Look at this!
It screamed at the one with the hole in its head.
You did this to me!
It pointed at itself, holding up a severed middle finger. Dib saw the opportunity, grasping the handle of the axe and pulling it out. Ah, thanks, man.
It is possibly never to be seen again.
And now, the weather.
Tonight calls for...
His mouth was covered by the man's hand. The tall man wore a frown about as real as Tack's flat chest. Because of course they are! I am Zim. Or, well, I am Zimmel. A Zim. I was kicked out of the Council of Zim, so I made this place. Checkered floors, high-quality decor, kitchen machines borrowed from Foodcordia. He has 5 other fathers, though let's not talk about that right now.
Hey, worker slaves, we got our first customer!
It didn't break eye contact with me as it put on a blue button-up and a name tag that just read Snake. I'm the janitor. It then proceeded to lick the pizza off the floor. I opened the back doors, shaking the bus until all its insides fell into the big bean maker. Trademark. You would eat those on your school, monster? They were jerks. Nothing personal, kid. He threw the kid out the window. The horned person fighting paused, took off their horns, and messed with the newly grown hair before making eye contact with me. I changed my design. They then jumped at the kid. He comes from our world, after his parents abandoned him in a Walmart parking lot when he was much younger. It's always the bread. Why doesn't anyone ever wish to buy the head crab jambalaya? Nothing's cooking in either oven, huh? He pointed to the kitchen, then to Zim, who was understandably greatly confused. My what?
Greens, and nothing but greens. Parsleys, peppers, cabbages and celery, asparagus and watercress and filberts and lettuce. He said, all right! But it wasn't quite, 'cause I caught him in the autumn in my garden one night. He was robbing me, raping me, rooting through my rutabaga, raiding my arugula, and ripping up the rampion, my champion, my favorite. I should have laid a spell on him right there. Could have turned him into stone, or a dog, or a chair. But I let him have the rampion and much to spare. In return, however, I said fair is fair. You can let me have the baby that your wife will bear.
And we'll call it Square.
Beans. The special beans. I let him go. I didn't know he'd stolen my beans. I was watching him crawl back over the wall. Then bang! Crash! The lightning flashed! Oh, well, that's another story. Never mind. Anyway, and so the big day came, and I made my claim. I don't take away the baby, they shrieked and screeched, but I did, and I hid her where she'll never be reached. Your father cried, and your mother died, but for extra measure, I admit it was a pleasure. I said sorry, I'm still not mollified, and I laid a little spell on them. You too, son. That your family tree will always be a barren one. So, there's no more fuss and there's no more scenes, and my garden thrives. You should see my nectarines, but I'm telling you the same I tell kings and queens. Don't ever mess around with my greens. Especially the beans.
Zim does not suck goats.
Zim Squish, we must protect the sugars!